And as God began to talk to me about cylindrical time, I knew these ideas in terms of Hebraic concepts and understanding of time, but it dawned on me that day that Christianity at its core is a relationship with a Creator that encompasses both our time and our space. And I think that one of the problems with Protestant biblical interpretation is that it fails often to recognize the different elements of time in its interpretation of the biblical text. Ecclesiastes says that there is to everything a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pick up that which is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance, a time to cast stones, and a time to gather up those stones again, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. And as I first begin to look at that passage of Scripture, it seems to my mind that time is breaking forth in a linear pattern. But when we begin to examine it closer, we see that it can be interpreted not only as time in a linear pattern, but it also can be time in a vertical pattern, time in a cylindrical pattern. Now, my mind as a Westerner is used to linear time, because there is a beginning point and there is a definite ending point. And through the biblical text, it is reasoned that time moves linearly from one point called the creation to the creation of Adam. This continued through Abraham, it continued through Joseph, through Moses, through Mount Sinai, through the establishment of Israel, through the coming of Messiah, through the current church age, through the millennial period, through the tribulation period, then the millennial period, through the battle of Armageddon, and finally to the creation of a new heaven and a new earth. Time, you see, is moving in a linear fashion to my Western mind. And even though we can look back at our life and we can see a definite past and we can see a definite portion of the future, it still moves in a linear